What's up, everybody? It's Bully the Board. As usual, Seth, Kevin, and Steve with you for another round of, I forget last week already. This is our board meeting. It's Bully the Board. This is our weekly board meeting, baby. So we're going to get into everything that happened in the weeks past, look ahead to what's coming up in the week ahead for the model and some efficiency landscape stuff, give an update on Circa, all the good stuff. So wasting no time, let's jump right into it, man. First, right off the bat, there's unfortunately a bit of red here on the recap for week 14 here. Rough week for us and for the model. Kind of a strange week, I think, I thought in the NFL. But let's I want to hop around a little bit and get you guys' thoughts on a couple of these games. Right out the bat, first one up there on the screen, at least in terms of order. Bills -9. Talk about backdoor.
Oh,
I mean, this shit was just brutal, Seth. What was your? I mean, did you get to watch this game?
Oh yeah. My basically thesis: Mike White couldn't just stay dead, man. That's all he needed. If he just stayed dead, that's all we needed. And really, to be honest, it wasn't even that. It was the safety, because even that late field goal without the safety, we still would have covered. So it was the safety. What do you do? I mean, Steve called it out, right? Sometimes we we don't usually like this, but sometimes we dabble, and we got burned. But I think it was the right bet. It was the right bet.
Yeah, I mean, it was up until the end, man. It was I mean, the Bills and the Jets have played two close games, and the Jets have played the Bills very hard each time. So that's a tough matchup for them, obviously. But they were there. They had it. Yeah, Mike White and that dog, man. He had too much of it in him that day.
Way too much dog.
It was pretty brutal. And then Steve, the Seahawks
called it.
I don't know. This
fucking
one
called
threw me
it
for a loop. This one threw me.
Fucking
for a loop,
called
man.
it. Not me. Yeah. Not me. Told you this is the one game I was really worried about this week. Yeah, that was the one when I was absolutely worried about. And sure as shit, Panthers went. They put up 30 points against the Seahawks.
I think so. Yeah.
They won by 6.
Yeah.
30-24. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So, again, as the board member here, Bully the Board member, and a betting guy, that one definitely hurt. But as an NFL fan, it is pretty interesting. I know we'll talk about our futures next, but Carolina's playing for a first place spot. Don't look now, which is wild to say, but they're fighting for a spot there. So, that one sucked for sure.
I mean, they fire their head coach. They trade McCaffrey. They trade a wide receiver. They've played 3, maybe 4 even quarterbacks at this point. Like, what the fuck is going on over there? So, I mean, good on them in that sense, but like, damn it. I mean, damn it. Who would have thought,
Yeah, I think it goes to show you how important defense is this year.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a really good defense, like you may not win a lot of games, but like you can be competitive every week.
Oh, for sure. It counts. Yeah,
Broncos.
We'll touch on that for sure in a couple of other points here throughout the board meeting here. So next one up, Ravens +4. This one was about as I don't want to call it sweat free, but like I had no.
Yeah, it was pretty.
I was not perspiring at all on this one, so I felt this one was relatively easy.
Huntley went out, Tyler Huntley went out. Yeah. That kind of sucked. And the Pickett went out early. Obviously, that didn't make us sweat. That was a good thing. Mitch sealed the deal for us. I mean, he threw 3 picks in the red zone.
3 picks, yeah.
I don't know if they were in the red zone, but I know at the end of the half they could have kicked a field goal, and instead, pitch Trubisky, baby.
Pick Trubisky, yeah. I mean, so much so that, this is the game on the model we'll talk about too, but. Yeah, people are throwing his ass under the bus essentially. Like no one's a fan of him over there, so can't blame him.
I mean, he got benched. Steve. Is he the would you guys take him number 1?
No, but yeah, I know, not number 1, but he was our first round pick.
Okay. He was like the number 3 pick, I think 3 or 4, right?
He was early on. I think I have to go back and remember. I remember what pick he was, but yeah. So it was high. It was high.
Yeah,
what a fall from
high
grace.
First round pick. And he got benched in the 4th game, I believe, for a true rookie. So I don't think the public aren't the only people low on it. I mean, Tomlin, we're going to talk about it. Tomlin is like Rudolph. Put Rudolph in.
I know. Yeah. So that one was good. Hopefully, I don't know how many more games Lamar is going to be out, but
Yeah.
Ravens find a way, man. John Harbaugh, he knows how to get shit done. That's for sure. Okay. Next one, the Broncos plus 11 here. I don't know what happened, or I was so. I one anecdote real quick. So that game kicked off and Chiefs go up to whatever they were up, like I think 14-0 or 10-0, maybe something like that. And I'm thinking it was obvious that she was going to be a slaughter real quick. And it was plus, I hadn't taken it live yet. And I looked at it, it was plus 17. And I was like, I don't even feel comfortable taking it at plus 17.
Really? Dang.
But I sprinkled. I did, but I like reluctantly even. I was like, this is so bad, so ugly. But then, I mean, damn, what the hell, Russell? Like, finally started cooking, right?
Yeah. You go, Steve. Go.
No, go.
I was just gonna say we're gonna get to this in the landscape, but Chiefs D is, I don't know, like it was both. Like Chiefs D is not that good, but also we finally saw some life in that offense, and then of course, right on the goal line, Russell gets a concussion, but I mean, whoever that backup is, he saved us. I think it was on 4th down they scored that touchdown to cover.
Okay, sorry. I undersold it. So I was like, when it was 10-0, 14-0, at one point it was 27-0.
Okay. What'd you get it at?
I picked it up, I think, when they scored. I think it was when it was 13-0. Something like that. Which was in the second quarter.
Not bad then. Not bad then.
Yeah, whatever. I hit it, but I'm just like, I was so shocked that it was that bad that quickly. But
so this is a good point we should make. So I get a lot of flack about buying points, and in the Ravens or Broncos games, the points weren't relevant for those games. Although in the Steelers game, having that at 4 felt a lot different than at, I think it closed at basically 0 or 1. But of all of the model picks, the 2 games that I bought points in were the ones that won. So meaning it was the distributions that played themselves out, it's not the actual of the buying points, it's the sampling. And so you're trying to sample as many games as possible. You can see a lot of red there, but it just so happens that the 2 that we bought points in were the ones that actually went the way that we thought they would go.
Yeah, no, fair, very, very, very fair point.
You took Ravens money line, didn't you, Steve?
Yeah. So I had Ravens money line on top of that. Which it was a close game on scoreboard, but I felt good all the way through. And then I actually had the opposite thing. So Kev, I had Broncos. I couldn't get them at 11. Well, you could, but I got them early at 10.5. I'm like, that's close enough. I think it's gonna get. And then I was like, oh Lord, what's happening? But it was. I'm not surprised that the game ended that close. I'm surprised of the route it took to get there. And not so much because of the Chiefs D, but just the Broncos offense. I mean, we've been talking about them about, if they would just score the league average, they'd be a playoff team right now. So, but the Chiefs, I think the bigger worry with the Chiefs is that we've seen this script against the Colts, the Titans, and now the Broncos, where you've had close games against, at the time, the teams that shouldn't have been close. Remember, the Titans were playing they were playing the backup quarterback. Yeah. Tannehill was out that game. Right. So I think this secret's out on KC, and teams with good defenses may be able to exploit that.
Yeah, and their defense is not doing them any favors. Model's been low on them all year. Have we actually bet on them? I think we've only bet against them.
I'd have to look back, double check, but I don't recall. At least not often. Let's put it that way, because I don't recall.
Even this week, the model is calling this line at 9 with the confidence interval. It says that Houston could win by up to 2.7 points,
which is wild.
So we're warning you about them. The money line parlay. It's like
which that might be a decent. That's a decent segue, because they play the Texans, and Dallas -9 against the Texans this past week was not fruitful, unfortunately. I don't know what do you think that's a product of, Seth? Because I was looking at some of the Texans, stats and metrics and things like that, and I'm like, what was the deal? Or was this more of a reflection on Dallas more so than the Texans?
Yeah. So the EPAs show that like Dallas isn't the best offensive team, to be honest. Like their just defense is really fucking good, and then they made that one. They made a special teams turnover in the red zone like right off the bat. And it just was kind of a close game. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the other thing that's influencing a model is they've had a lot of blowouts, so it positions them to look maybe a little bit better than they are. Because our model doesn't attribute scoring, right? It just attributes final score. So that could be one of the contributions.
Yeah. So that was that was obviously a play that could have been had live, but obviously just didn't work out. And what do you want to call them? Like the fraudulent Kings or the fraud of all frauds?
Oh, Vikings.
The Vikings. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Did you guys get to watch that game?
No, unfortunately, I did not.
No, bad beat up, all bad beats. They were literally first and goal on the 1 yard line. First down. This is right before the half. First down.
Okay, right before the half. Okay.
Yeah, first down. Cook fumbles. Turnover.
Did he? Yeah.
So that touchdown scores or even a field goal. Give me a field goal. That game is so different, and the spread is basically never a danger. They were flipping point. They were trading points until that drive, and that turnover basically was what sealed the deal for real.
Yeah, I mean they this wasn't even one of those like narrative driven issues where it was like primetime Kirk like throws 5 picks or some bullshit like that. Like they just they got outplayed. I looking at least from looking at some of the metrics after the fact. So yeah, that was a pretty brutal beat. But
when we look at the last 4-week EPAs, your mind's gonna be blown.
Yeah,
the Lions are like, I don't know. Check them for PEDs. I call you Sada. I don't know what's going on over there, but
something.
They
got the secret stuff,
they're drinking they're drinking all the coffee Dan Campbell drinks, I guess now. I don't know, but
they're throwing fucking passes to linemen, dude. They're on another level, man. This shit's wild.
Yeah, their defense has stepped up way big too. So I don't know, but yeah, overall, it was a slaughter.
It was a bad week.
In the moment, I was like, because usually you do not get this many live lines. I was like, hell yeah, this is gonna be dope. Just slaughter. Because without the live lines, this is a 50% day. So you lose your juice. So I would imagine vast majority, if not everyone, if there's anybody even tailing these bets, would have just probably taken the 3 or the 4 that are in the pregame. So hopefully it wasn't too big of a loss day.
No, yeah, I guess not. But I think all of us did end up taking these in some form or fashion. So yeah, but that's one of the two sides of variance, right? You sometimes it'll work out in your favor, and other weeks it will not, unfortunately.
Up until last week, it was 12-4 in live lines. So I mean, it was on a heat.
Right. Yeah, which
so it was
that record, that rate is
unsustainable.
Tell you it's not sustainable, right?
Yeah.
But
true.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. But that's all right, baby. We move on. We march on. So through week 14, it was also not a great week for the futures too. Where the Colts already cashed because they blow and they're not going to hit 10 wins, but Panthers, we kind of talked about them already. Like, fuck, they're figuring their shit out. Unfortunately, at the right time, they're playing for something. So they got to win 2 more games. They got to go 500 in these last 4 weeks, right? And then they hit their over, which would be absolutely mind boggling to me. But Steve, I don't want to bury the lead here because you are still once you're gonna die on this hill, baby. Bengals under 10 wins.
Oh, they're going on 4. They're going on 4 to finish the year.
Oh my god!
Calling it now. No. It's tough sledding for sure.
Are you okay? Come on, I see it in your eye. Like, are you willing to admit now that this might we might have been
Hell no, not to that bet is graded as
not till it's dead and done.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Come on, this is a reverse bad beat coming all day.
I mean, so the current market is now at 11.5. So
Yeah.
and a
We're
half.
behind the 11.5. Yeah.
And a half. Wow.
So we got values. What I'm hearing.
Opposite value.
And then Panthers are still at 6.5, but the odds are gnarly. Minus 150 for the over, plus 125 for the under. So that one's weird, but it's still at 6.5.
Yeah.
And then we're screwed at Saints. It's at 6.5.
Yeah,
I think
done.
they have to win out just for us to push.
Right. They're toast. The Patriots are interesting still. I've been hot and cold on them all year. I mean, they've been hot and cold all year, frankly. So
the market is still on like undecided here. It's still at 8.5, and it's basically
right.
minus. It's minus 105 and minus 115. So
I can't imagine. I haven't tracked week to week, but I can't imagine that has moved more than one win either way.
No,
all season.
It's been 8.5 all week. I think it's legitimately it is the number. It's going to come down to the last game probably.
Yep.
Well, it's really going to come down to this week. I think really they got to get this win. This is the real. If they don't win this week, it's probably not going to happen.
Against the Raiders, yeah. I mean, if they can't handle
Josh McDaniels reunion, they're practicing at U of A, Steve. They're down there.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Although if they can pull, if they can
rub down,
if they can pull a rabbit out the hat in any one of these next 3 weeks, I do smell the last week being one of those situations where Bills might not have anything to play for, rest a bunch of dudes, and the Patriots can steal one.
So they play. They got Raiders.
They play the Bills. Oh, the
Miami,
next 3 weeks.
Bills.
So in this order: Raiders,
Cincinnati,
Bengals, Dolphins, Bills.
So they have to win this week. They have to win this week. They're not getting 2 wins out of Miami, Bills, Cincinnati. Don't ask Steve, but well, I guess in Steve's mind, they're getting at least one of those wins.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm with you though, Seth. Like, if they're gonna, this one is the most gettable one. They have to.
You could see some scenarios, like you're saying, maybe Bills wrap it up. You could see them, head to head. Miami didn't kill them, and they scored off 2 defensive touchdowns, or at least 1 defensive touchdowns. That was week 1, so that was forever ago.
That was week 1, yeah. And for Christ's sakes, if the Chargers, who are terrible defensively in many metrics, could figure out a way to shut them down, essentially, I would think Bill Belichick, after essentially season's worth of film, could figure out some shit too. So who knows? That could be a very gettable game too. But I think the elephant in the room. I think Seth, you mentioned it last week too. I mean, we're teetering, obviously, and we kind of expected it with the futures to come down to the last couple of weeks here, but very real possibility we could go 2-3 or 2-1, some effect. But it ain't over, like Steve said, till the fat lady sings. It ain't over till it's over, baby. So
Broncos country, let's hide. I'm with you. It's going to come down to last week probably. Because Panthers are right there. They just keep winning for no reason. Like, because after this week, if they get a 6, we basically are hanging on for dear life.
That's true. That's very true. So it'll be another interesting week as far as that goes. Because no more buys, right? Everyone's done with their buys. I think at this point.
No more buys. No more buys.
Yep. So no more.
And hopefully, no more new goddamn quarterbacks.
Don't rule it out yet. Don't you rule it out yet, baby.
Our model, we just don't get output because Desmond Ritter's starting this week, and then Purdy's on the road for the first time.
Right.
Deshaun's on the road for the first time this season, so we're not getting those games. We're just losing volume where we need it right now.
Yep, fair enough. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some efficiency and EPA stuff here. So this is updated through week 14. We looked last time we looked at through week 13, correct?
Yeah. So this is just adding last week's games.
Okay. Yeah.
So to answer your question earlier, Kevin, you can see how good Cowboys defense is, but you can see they're a good offense overall net. But if you stratify that by pass and run, that's really most of their run game. So you can see their peers there, except San Francisco, are a little bit better offensively. So I don't know. Interesting interesting there to watch. San Francisco's scary as hell. If Jimmy didn't get hurt, man. And I guess in Purdy we trust that they're playing right now.
Dude.
But
Yeah.
that they look scary if they can do anything. Broncos. I don't know. Interesting. So, what about your Cardinals, Evan? That's rough.
I plead
loss.
the fifth. The fifth. Shit's brutal, man. Yeah, I mean, at least I'm not the most down in the dumps fan on this board meeting here. Steve takes that cake.
I would almost disagree with you. The Cardinals look worse than the Bears. The Bears look like they have hope. They at least have a quarterback. Is Kyler Murray the man? Is he the guy?
You know what? You made that's a fair question, fair assessment. And after tearing his ACL, who knows how long he's going to be out and how many games he's going to miss next year, all that type of stuff.
I got a better question.
Their GM just went out indefinitely today on a health issue, and he's doubtful basically to return to the position. So it's brutal over there.
Yeah, Kev, I was going to say real quick though, Kev. Here's the thing though, we're playing for draft picks. You guys are trying to compete, and we're the same level. So I don't feel bad whatsoever.
Yeah, the Bears got rid of their whole defense. They're like, we're playing next
shots
year.
fired.
No, but I got a question for you. Kingsbury fired?
Frankly, I think they need. The Cardinals have basically underperformed for a full season and a half now. Even dating back to last year, there's a lot of issues to point to suggest that he has been figured out. He can adapt. He is just not that guy. I think there's a lot of circumstantial evidence to suggest that, and I would not be upset one bit at all, despite the fact giving him a contract extension before this year. Yeah, it might be a addition by subtraction type of thing. Yeah, so
interesting.
But as far as the efficiency stuff goes here, I am. The Vikings are essentially in the same spot they were. I mean, it's only obviously one additional week of data here, but
so good and bad about this part of the season. Basically, a team is mostly operating how their totality of data shows, so you don't really see a lot of difference. So good and bad, but so I mean, it's just more data that the Vikings are just an average team.
Yeah, in every way you can slice it. But let me, if I could poke ahead here to the next one. This one might be a little more intuitive or telling in terms of where teams are going or headed. This is a much more reasonable spot for the Cardinals to be in. Far bottom left quadrant as opposed to kind of hanging around up towards the center left there. Yeah, it's really bad as of late here. But speaking of Vikings specifically though, this one, they got a basically an average offense, but still their defense is struggling.
Yeah, the quadrant of woe, right? That's the quadrant of woe. That's bad. That's less than stellar offense and bad defense. So, what's crazy in the quadrant of elite, you got the Washington Commanders and Las Vegas Raiders. You got the Steelers to teeter in there. There's some pretty gnarly teams in the last 4 weeks. And then who do you see right under the Chiefs? That's the Lions.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. Oh, I did. Yeah. I almost missed that. Unless you would have said
over the last 4 weeks, the Lions have played almost the exact style EPA offensively and defensively, and that's one of the top offenses. Also, just to not have that point lost. That's one of the Eagles and maybe the Cowboys are ahead of those two teams offensively, and the Cowboys scored. What they blew out, I think in that time period, they blew out the Vikings and Indy.
The Colts. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, pretty gnarly. Yeah, and Colts. Yep.
It is. So, I mean, and so the AFC is interesting because I think the Bills, I wish, maybe we can figure this out one day if we had a sort of a mini live action charting of where they moving them week over week.
Yep. Actually, stay tuned. The code is That
Okay.
chart is coming in the coming weeks. It's actually not so hard to do that. Basically, you have to you get all the weeks, and then you just overlay them as a what is that, GIF, and then they just it'll move them around. Yeah.
Move around.
So
Okay.
stay tuned.
Okay. All right. A little tease. I like it. Yeah. So, Eagles. I mean, have you checked the cash out on the Super Bowl ticket recently?
Yeah. Yep. It's like 700 and something. Here, I'll pull it up right now. It's like, I think it was 780.
That's
off
really
of
solid.
175, but it's a 5.4K ticket, so 761. So
761, yeah. I mean, assuming nothing fluky happens until the first week of the playoffs, like that'll be I would assume close to 1,000, if not 1,000.
Oh yeah, come playoff time, when seeding, if they get the first seed, it'll be interesting to see what that's actually worth. But you know, in my thesis that I've had for a while, but this is the first time I've been punished by not following it. You got to make 2 tickets for all of these futures, because if you don't, you're left to sell. You basically can only hedge out, and you can't realize as much upside if you have 2 tickets. So if you take the same amount of money and you split them and you get 2 tickets, you can cash the one out and you can let the other one ride. And so you can keep your upside, but you can hedge your downside. Whereas if you only have 1 ticket, you're left to hedge more linearly, where you really lower your window of earning. So lesson learned. What's an extreme take here? Green Bay sucks.
An extreme one?
I guess that offense says they don't. I guess this EPA says they don't. So Colts are bad. I mean, I guess my extreme take, and we're going to get into it, and I'll lay on heavier. I hate this Bucs pick that the model has, because the Buccaneers are dead.
Yeah,
that's my extreme take.
Yeah, I mean, I might even, that's hardly a hot take, almost recency bias. Like they have not. They're coming off the heels of getting their ass stomped. I mean, granted, by one of the best teams in the league, you know, but still, it's
with a backup quarterback, though.
It's with a 3rd string quarterback, not even a backup. You know?
Yeah, fair.
It's bad in those streets, you know. But
I think the extreme take is we're talking about Carolina's futures ticket that we're trying to hit under 6.5. Carolina might have a winning record when it's all said and done.
Yeah,
going to be it's division time. What division's weaker than the NFC South?
We're about to find out, but yeah. And you got a dying Falcons, dying Bucks. Who else is in that division?
And you got the Saints.
The dying Saints.
Falcons, all trash.
And you got Desmond Ridder now starting, so that could be, you know, even easier. Yeah, that's a good point. And Steve, you don't want to hear this. The Bengals, man, they're just going under the radar. No one is talking about them. But look, they're better. They're better defensively. I guess in the last 4 weeks, they're basically right on par with the Bills in Kansas City. But they played some pretty good teams in that stretch, and in that stretch, they played Kansas City and beat them. They've already played the Bills and beat them too. So they're plus 1,000 for the Super Bowl right now, and I think that is underrated.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to, if you, I don't know if I'd call it an extreme take, but you know, the NFC East has been the best division, right, in football this year. But if there's one of these is not like the others, I would have pegged the Commanders to have been that team for most of the season. But I think we're starting to paint a different picture, and it's relatively clear to me that the Giants, you know, they faked it until they made it, and now they're getting kind of exposed. So I think they're gonna have a hard time sledding the rest of the season. And I mean, they might still finish with a 500 record, which is decent average, obviously, but the last place in the division when it's all said and done.
And Heineke's a lot better than Wentz.
Yeah.
I think the crazy in disparity in income: $3 million for Heineke, $30 million for Wentz.
Shout out Carson Wentz, man. Good for you.
Yeah, Jay-Z said it best. Would you rather be would you rather be underpaid or overrated?
Yeah.
I guess you know, it's tough, but
I've never been either, so I got no firsthand experience. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I'm rooting for Heineke. I mean, what is Heineke and Tucker, right? Not the AFL. What was that? The XFL?
XFL,
The XFL, yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. So interesting stuff. We'll see how the efficiency stuff continues to play out. So we'll get into this more as the week goes on. So, all right, another week in the books. Another just like fugazi week of whether or not we're gonna win all the Circa plays or lose them all or just finish again like 2 or 3 or 3 and 2. So Steve, help us out, man. What changed or what didn't change?
Yeah, not much. So again, for everyone to recap, we went 0-5, I forgot how many weeks ago that was unintentionally. And so we're like, hey, we're actually kind of closer to the bottom than we are to the top. There is prize money for coming in last place. So that's what we've been shooting for the last few weeks. We had a 3-2 week, which really means we had a 2-3 week, what we were trying to accomplish. We had Lions -2.5. That one, again, we talked about that all week, right? How the Vikings, underdogs, this and that. And, they showed us why. We had just +9.5. It's about that backdoor, the safety. Steelers -2.5, which really wasn't a sweat. We felt pretty good about that. Panthers +3.5, which, again. And then we had Chiefs -9.5 as well. So we went 3-2 with that. Right now we're at 39.5 points. It's kind of easier to quantify it this way because there's 4,600 entries.
Yeah.
So we're still pretty in terms of entry place. We're still hundreds away from last place, but we're only 9 points out of last place. So we did take a little bit of a step back. There's some folks had some pretty strong 0-5 weeks. Shout out to them. But we're in the thick of it. But yeah, it's getting. We're in Q4, so no, we gotta finish strong.
And model usually comes alive in these last couple of weeks. So I mean, we could go on a couple of streak of 0-4, 0-5 ourselves.
Yeah, that would be huge.
Yeah. The slightly unfortunate thing, which this is somewhat a little bit peeling the curtain back, we don't have 5 model plays this week. Right?
Yeah.
So and the lines are slightly off from what some of the other consensus lines are, right? So it's kind of splitting hairs in some respects, but it's not. We don't always have 5 plays on the model to just basically fade on Circa.
Yeah.
So, Steve, this doesn't go into the playoffs, does it? Does it stop at regular season?
Yeah, regular season.
Okay. All right. So 9 points away, 4 weeks left. Hey, man.
Let's go.
Anything can happen,
20
baby.
picks.
Right.
I know.
Right.
Anything can happen.
We could go 16-4 or something.
Yeah. We could
go 20-0.
20-0, exactly.
Yeah. As long as we don't bet on the Bengals.
Shout out Joe Burrow.
Well, actually, now's your time. We're going to bet against them this week. And oh boy, does it feel horrible to do so.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, week 15 model predictions here staring at you. So kind of a tale of 2 weeks on the first one here. So we faded the Panthers last week. That bit us in the ass. I hope we're not biting ourselves 2 weeks in a row on this one here. But it's one of those weird ones.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It basically, this is the bet. We're basically hedging out of the bet right here.
Yeah.
Because if they win this game and we cover, as long as they don't win by 1, then
or 2.
Well, I guess I'm selfish. I got it at 2 earlier in the week. Yeah. So they win by 1 or 2, that would suck. But say they win by 3 or more. Basically, whatever we win is the equivalent of the bet. So it's kind of like a hedge out. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like it more as the week goes on. If there's so much turmoil in Pittsburgh, Kenny has to play for this to be a pick. But the fact that they're just talking about skipping Trubisky and going straight to Rudolph, it's pretty gnarly. I was reading something today that the players are advocating for that.
Deontay Johnson, their number 1, was I want to give him a shot. It's whoa, okay. Shout out.
Dang.
For what that's worth,
I guess so.
Panthers -2.5 against the Steelers. That's number 1, and then number 2, Bucks +4.5. Seth, you mentioned it. They look dead. They look done. They look toast. So this,
I mean, yeah,
I hate this one.
I hate it. Well, yeah, we'll get into it when we break it down, but
Yeah,
it doesn't
and
even
then-
make sense. It doesn't even make sense from.
I know. We were, and one more peel back the curtain type of thing. We were, shooting our little clips the other day or yesterday or whatever day it was. I don't even know.
Tuesday.
And we're like staring at the metrics. How do we even, and figuring out how we could even spin, quote unquote, taking the Bucks +4, and there's no discernible metric to point to. Be like, yeah, this makes sense here.
So
It's just bad.
I reran it. Well, here, let's break out on the other ones, and then when we get to this one, we can go a little bit more depth.
All right, fine, yeah. So, but live lines to watch because these are I don't have the consensus in front of me now, but Bills are 7.5 right now.
Yeah. No, 7. It's 7.
7. Okay.
Yep.
So
and
attainable,
then
probably at -150 or better, but
no, because you got to cross through 7, so that costs a lot.
Yeah.
You can't get it yet. But yeah,
you
live.
Okay.
You can't get either of these yet. They're true live lines.
Yep. So
now
keep an eye out depending on how the
Bills open at 6. So if you were able to get it Sunday night, you may have been able to get 5, but we didn't. Yeah. We didn't get that.
Okay. All right. Let's get into a couple of these though, because this is kind of interesting stuff. So, Steve, when you're staring down the Panthers -2.5 against God who knows, let's just assume for argument's sake it's Kenny Pickett. He gets better from his concussion, whatever. Like the story's got to be the Panthers D here, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're at this point in the season where these teams are who we think they are, except for the Panthers, because we've had this revolving door of players come in and out all season long. We just talked about it a little bit earlier, but yeah, I think with the Steelers, that's it, right? Like we've seen the Steelers with Pickett, with Trubisky, like we know what we're going to get. And right now, we just saw in the last 4 weeks EPA, the Panthers are surging right now, absolutely surging. So I think you can say it's the defense, but I think it's everything. I think it's the defense. I think it's the offense. I think it's the belief that they went from the basement to literally fighting for a playoff berth, and as a number 1 seed in their division. So I think the Panthers are the story here. I think I'm not gonna say they're the real deal by any means, but I think they're truly the better team as of the last month or so.
Yeah, no, I think it is their defense in the run game, and then obviously they've had a revolving door quarterback, so we'll see if Sam Darnold can still do what he can do. He had a couple of glimmers of some Samisms last week against a bad Seattle defense. So I'm a little cautious here, but you could say the same about the quarterback play for the Steelers.
Right.
So this is going to be an ugly game. I expect this to be a really ugly game.
So
you
said
if
it
you
earlier,
got 2 or 2.5, a field goal is exactly what you.
Right. I'd be curious to see what happens to the market if, in fact, Rudolph is named the starter. But you mentioned it earlier. This is technically only a play if Kenny Pickett starts, but we already took it. So,
hey, do you think there's going to be a prop play if Rudolph does start over under 1.5 helmet swung?
Against him?
Yeah.
With them. No, it'd be over under half N bombs thrown. Like that's the Rudolph bet.
Well, no, right, but that wasn't that the reason that he ended up swinging. Was it Myles Garrett ended up swinging that helmet? That's what I'm saying. Maybe it's like a they have like the points, assists, rebounds, combined parlays. Yeah, it'd be in bombs, helmet swung, and ejections.
Yeah. They won't let you bet both. They're highly correlated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's such a gnarly thing to think about. The other thing that happened a year ago today, Steve, just to haunt your memories, was the Browns versus Ravens Thursday night game where it was a +3.5, and it was a 2-point. The Browns were covering, but they tried to lateral at the last play of the game, and they got a safety. And I wanted to remind you of just more.
Oh God, yeah,
more. I guess Browns. That's Browns, not the Steelers. But I don't know. Yeah, this game is ugly, but just the fact that there's turmoil here with who's going to start. And to your point, Kevin, it looks like it opened at Opened at 2. I got it at 2 on Tuesday, and now it's at 3. So market's betting this. They were taking the 2.5. They basically, I think the market's like, give me the slightly better team at a field goal. At 3, I bet you this closes at 3, because now it's no one's going to touch it. It's just
I can see
people to fight over like whatever, but there's really no, because you could see 3 being a push here.
Sure.
Right.
It could be so I don't know. This is an interesting game. I don't hate it though.
Unfortunately, no, I don't either, which I'm conflicted about how I feel on that, just because of I guess the futures play. But I don't know how many times we've bet for against the Panthers. There's been a couple of times at least.
Man.
So
we bet
I
on them
don't
and
know
won,
if
but
this
we
is.
bet on
I
them
don't
and
know if
lost.
this is technically a hedge or not. To your earlier point, like we could be just like getting double whammy screwed here if it goes the way we don't want it to go. But I'd have to double check. But Panthers minus 2.5. We're riding with it nonetheless. Let's go. And then that's a typo. It's not Seahawks. It's Bucks plus 4.5 there.
Should I take the Seahawks instead?
Yeah. And ironically, that's this. I guess they weren't 3.5, or they're not 3.5 today. But I hate this bet. I hate this bet. I hate this bet. I hate this bet. I legitimately would rather take the money I bet on it and throw it in a trash can. Like out of principle, I bet what the model says, and I don't change the unit. I bet the same, but this feels legitimately worse than throwing my money in a trash can.
So hindsight is 20/20, as they say, but to this point, or to this, like, to that narrative, this is somewhat ironically maybe one of the points of having something like a model to begin with. We do not like this bet. It doesn't make sense for depending on looking at all the metrics that we're looking at, right? But the model is spitting this result out, and it broadly, it has a model, not all models. A model can have the ability to see things, parse out shit that you are not able to feel out or see with your eyes, right?
100%, and that is, to your point, why I bet it, because that's the whole reason you build a model and you use a model. But this is one of those things where the model's blind. This is the model Stevie Wonder on this. It's now. I was digging around because I'm like, okay, what's going on? Because the metrics don't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, is this an artifact of like some Tom Brady? Because we remember we adjust these for a quarterback. So it's like, is there like an artifact in the data that there's like the Tom Brady God level variable, like where Tom Brady's just like skewing the shit out of it? And I removed the quarterback data, and it still had Tampa Bay covering the game from a point estimate. So if you don't get rid of the variance, but just as the point estimate, it still had them winning by 2 points. So it looks like the actual rankings are driving that. So it's not just some fluky thing like that. So I guess that makes you feel better, but doesn't make me feel better. Give me the trash can. I mean, like,
do you remember?
I hate.
Do you remember off the top of your head what the statistically significant drivers were this week for this one?
Yeah, it's been consistent the last couple of weeks. It's both overall DVOA, so 13 versus 6. Mm-hmm. So this may be not even. Let's say this is apparently the model saying that a 13-6 matchup is that disparity in DVOA isn't that big. And maybe is right for, because it has Tampa Bay winning by 7 points as the point estimate. So it's overall DVOA for both teams, pass offense for the home team, special teams for the home team, and
which Tampa Bay is the home team, right?
Yep, correct. Yep.
So, so what are we doing? Right.
Yeah.
Right. So to your point, it's wild, but fuck yeah.
I think the Bengals won by 21.
Ooh, I have to take.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Give me the take. I hate this. It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
0 sense to me.
Yeah, I will say, I'm talking a lot of shit about the Bengals and the future's pick still being alive, but I do have Mike Evans on my fantasy team. I benched him this week. I looked at this matchup. I'm like, oh, there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell. Now, we talk about the Bucks and they have the worst run offense.
Yeah, the worst.
Yeah, in
Dead
the
last.
league. So Brady has to throw, and you would think that would help for the stat standpoint, but it doesn't. So yeah, I see this being, like you said, Seth. I think it gets ugly early. Brady's forced to throw, and maybe that blindly kind of lifts the stats there. But no, man, I think from a game man's perspective, this is done. So, but crazier things have happened. Crazier.
No.
things have happened.
I think this is literally the end of Tom Brady. Now, I honestly, I think that's a misconception. Tom Brady is actually not playing that poor, and he's actually there's no step back throwing the ball. They legitimately cannot run the ball. They are like the definition of one dimensional. And if in the NFL, that is just too easy to defend. Mm-hmm. And the defense is just teeing off on them. So the Bengals have almost just as good of a defense. Well, that's not true. They have a pretty good defense. Not maybe as good as the 49ers, but
let's just look real quick. Last four
yeah. So they're not as high on defense, right? They're
right.
kind of middle of the pack. But in that 4 weeks, who have they played? They played Kansas City. They played the Browns. They played who else?
Who did they just play?
Browns, Kansas City, and then somebody else. But yeah, I don't know.
Titans and Steelers.
And they won all of those.
But yeah, in the quadrant, what do you call it? Quadrant of woe, or elite. What do you call it?
I call
the bottom left.
Oh, quadrant of woe, quadrant of shitty, quadrant of trash can.
Who's hanging out there?
A bunch. Yeah, exactly.
Bucks,
the Bucks.
So, exactly, baby. So
this stinks to high hell to me.
We'll see, baby. Nothing. You never know. The NFL, it's been one of those years, and every single week, it's almost without fail. There's a head scratcher of a game, and why not this one, right? So
yeah. Oh no, I mean, like I said, the money's been bet. I got it at +4. I paid $120 for it. The model is there for a reason, just like you said, but it just is one of those. This is just like Seahawks last week to me. This is just wrong. This is just wrong. Yeah. The model just can't see the truth. Now you don't want to make a career doing that, but yeah, I think that this is another one. But hey, I don't know. And then I'm hopeful about the Bills. I'm hopeful. Mm-hmm. I'm hopeful we can get that one. Bills, man, they've been on the downslide, but I don't know. They got to turn around. And Miami's just not a good defense, so I think that's the team you could do it against. And then Cowboys, I don't know whether anybody's high or low on them doesn't matter. I think 2.5 is a great number to get them if we can get them.
Yeah,
Jacksonville though sneaky weird, man. I don't know. They turn it on sometimes. And
they are. Right. Yeah, they have been. I mean, they're still like in many respects the Jags of old, right? Jags gonna jag type of thing. But yeah, the Cowboys have I wouldn't say been hot and cold, but after sneaking out a win against the Texans last week, I don't know. I think they're not as clear cut dominant on both sides of the ball as some people thought. Yeah. Defensively, yes, but offensively, who knows, man? So, all right, Steve, what do you think, man? Assuming we catch both lines as well on the lives too. How do you feel this week's going to go?
I got a 3-1 week. I think the Panthers. I'm not gonna say they cover easily, but that's the one I do feel probably the strongest about. The Bills. I could see a shootout in the Bills. I think I love the 5, obviously better than the 7, right? But the Bills' defense has been on the slide a little bit lately. I think the offense has more than enough against a suspect Dolphins defense to put up enough points to get -5. I can see it being a 1-score game easily. But that backdoor we've been burned so many times. And then I think the Cowboys had a classic look ahead game. They came off a blowout over Indy. The Texans are supposed to be the trash of the league, and they just got complacent. So I think they get things right, trying to chase the Eagles. So yeah, I think a 3-1.
3-1. Okay, Seth, how do you?
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah. Actually, 3-1, 3-1, maybe 4-0. Maybe I just get so. I would love to be proven wrong. I'd love to be like, that's exactly why you lose a model, Seth. I would love to be proven right with the Bucks.
Yeah.
I just think that it's wrong there. And the other one I'm keen to watch is New York Jets. Detroit model likes Detroit right now, so we're actually one score away from probably being able to get Detroit, and then the model does not like Green Bay, so I don't think I'll be able to get that live. But I'm just kind of eyeing that one. What's going on there? Because you would think Baker. I don't know. I think that's a Monday night game.
Monday night
and
in
then,
Lambeau, yeah.
And then unfortunately, the model likes Oakland by 3. So I'm hoping it's wrong. But I mean, with confidence intervals, you're talking -9 to all the way to win by 15. So Let's hope it's on that -9.
Yep. I forget if I think you looked at this at some point in the season, Seth. If the Buffalo venue was one of the stadiums that is statistically significant.
Yep, it is.
So Mike McDaniels had some shirt on this today, or he was going around like, "I wish it was colder" or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which was kind of funny. And for what it's worth, I think that environment is just going to bitch slap them in the face. I think this one will be. If you can grab it now, or if you can grab it before kickoff, I would do it. I'm gonna keep an eye on it for sure. But I'm not sure. My hot take will be the Bills lead and never trail in this game. I think they're gonna I think they're gonna figure some shit out against the Dolphins.
To your point, Kevin, like it's 7 that's costing us right now. If the market pushes it to 6.5, it will be totally doable to get 5. It's that right now you're having to buy through 7, and they charge you up the ass for that.
Yeah,
right,
for sure. So to the extent that we can get one, I like that a lot. I think I'm with you guys. We all kind of collectively hate the Bucks. It's dog shit, But and then the Cowboys, even though the Jags, they know they can turn shit on from time to time, but.
Well,
a field like I think this will be gettable live. I think the Jags can pull some rabbit out the hats early, but maybe even like last week against the Texans, the Cowboys might need some late game heroics, and all you need is a field goal, baby. So I think that's going to be very gettable live, and I think the Cowboys take care of business.
So if you don't care and you're not a stickler, you can get 5.5 for 142.
5.5 for who?
Bills. Sorry,
Bills. 5.5, 142. Okay, I'll think about it.
I'm just letting you know. And then Steve, you'll be excited about this. So the model has Philly winning by 7.6 points, but with the confidence interval, it says that Chicago could win by up to 5 points.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No. I'm just throwing it out. Upset. This is in Shy City, man, and this ain't summertime Shy.
Do you even want them to win at this point?
Yeah.
I don't know. Kinda. Yes. Oh, Steve.
Yeah,
fair point.
Yeah. No, because he's do nothing but ruin our draft pick and get my hopes up. So let's. Yeah.
All right, I feel you. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Cards aren't on this, but I hope they lose every game the rest of the season, for sure at this point now. But yeah, so I think I'm right. I think I'm on the same page as you guys in terms of predictions here. I feel most comfortable about the Bills, and I think Bucks are just gonna shit the bed, and they're gonna the division winner in the NFC South might have a losing record. It's gonna be one of those weird years again, where a losing record team is gonna host a playoff game.
Did you guys hear that they announced Desmond Ridder as the starter and Mariota left the team?
Left?
Oh, I did not hear that.
Yeah. Either did I. And then I heard it. I don't know where I read it, and I looked at it. Yeah, and then they're trying to come up with all these things. That he's like, oh, he had to go to the doctor to get about an injury that's never been reported all season.
Right.
For his knee.
Right.
So he's like, fuck you guys, I can't play. I'm out.
Right.
Pretty gnarly.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had to go to the doctor get a physical so he can get traded to a different team. That's what happened.
Yeah. Oh man! All right,
Yeah,
so looking
I
forward to
never heard anything like.
Yeah, same.
Literally, if you Google Marcus Mariota, this is the first news story. Marcus Mariota's situation confuses many. Marcus Mariota reportedly leaves Falcons after benching to have knee evaluated. Yeah,
It's
did not
unfortunate.
practice Thursday. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty
That
gnarly.
is unfortunate. All right, well, we're calling it. We're all in agreement. It's unanimous. It's going to be a 3-1 week, baby. So stay tuned until next week. We'll be
Bounce
breaking
back.
down how everything went and make sure to give you guys updates for the model and all the good stuff. So I think that'll do it for us this time. Seth or Steve, any takeaway, lasting thoughts before we head out?
Let's go, Duncan. Let's get it. Let's get some profit this week. We need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Bucks by a million.
Bucks by a million. Tom Brady, let's ride.
Let's ride.
Divorces for everybody.
All right, boys and girls, that'll do it for us. We'll see you next week.